Let's be clear. One too many fast food burgers and JD Vance is president. And in this breaking story, if you think he'd be any better than Donald Trump, oh Lord, no. And I'm going to show you why, what just happened in this breaking story that confirms exactly that. Because if there were an Olympic gold medal for backpedaling on what you ran on in your campaign, Trump, without question, would win the gold by a mile. But then again, he chose Vance for a reason, who actually, as of today, wouldn't be very far behind getting the silver for second place. And in this breaking story, wait till you hear how JD Vance tries to deal with a really simple question based on a statement he makes moments before. But before that, take a look at Donald Trump with regards to lowering grocery prices on the campaign trail, and whoopsie poop, what happens when you get elected. Take a listen.
As you know, Trump on the campaign trail railed about inflation a lot. This was an issue that Republicans up and down the ballot talked about a lot. So I want to play a soundbite from his interview this weekend on Meet the Press with Kristen Welker about this, about specifically grocery prices.
Groceries. It's a very simple word, groceries.
In his interview with Time, the president-elect backed off his central campaign promise to lower prices for consumers, including on groceries, saying, look, they got them up. I'd like to bring them down. It's hard to bring things down once they're up. You know, it's very hard, but I think that they will. I think that energy is going to bring them down. I think a better supply chain is going to bring them down. Throughout the campaign, Trump repeatedly vowed lower prices.
But prices will come down. You just watch. They'll come down, and they'll come down fast, not only with insurance, with everything. It'll also bring your grocery bill way down.
Donald Trump is going to make a lot of promises, then he's going to walk them back, and then he's going to try to find the space for a deal.
Yeah, simple word, but really, really hard to do after you win based on a promise. And then here's JD Vance right in his footsteps going, well, but we've only been here for 5 days. Gah. Take a listen.
You campaigned on lowering prices for consumers. We've seen all of these executive orders. Which one lowers prices?
We have done a lot, and there have been a number of executive orders that have caused already jobs to start coming back into our country, which is a core part of lowering prices. If you look at our slate of executive orders, no, Margaret, prices are going to come down, but it's going to take a little bit of time. We're going to work with Congress. We're, of course, going to have more executive orders, and we're going to try.
So in this breaking story, while JD Vance gets put to the mat by Caitlin Collins on protests going on campuses with regards to Israel and Gaza, oh, look what he says about the obsession with the January 6th pardons. Here is the breaking story of Mr. New Backpedal America of hypocrisy. Here it is.
But you can't police people for being anti-Israel or pro-Israel. You can police people for violating the law. And we have seen some of that with some of these protests.
Okay, so you agree that people who break in and vandalize a building should be prosecuted?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just checking because you did help raise money for people who did so on January 6th, which was, impeding an official proceeding, breaking into a building that they weren't allowed to be in, and vandalizing the Capitol.
Well, Caitlin, I know that this is the obsession of the national media to talk about what happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago on January the 6th.
It's not an obsession. I'm just seeing if it's a double standard.
Let me answer the question, Caitlin. I mean, look, here's been my basic argument about January the 6th. If you beat up a cop, of course you deserve to go to prison. If you violated the law, you should suffer the consequences. But there are people who protested on January the 6th who have had the complete weight of the Justice Department thrown at them when, at worst, they're accused of misdemeanors. Now, again, there are people who are accused of worse offenses, and that's a problem. But you can't have Black Lives Matter protesters who rioted and vandalized goes free when you have people who were actually peacefully protesting on January the 6th who have the book thrown at them. That's the double standard that I'm most worried about.
Yeah, I don't think there's an obsession with January 6th, but it is a legitimate question. And given what you just said there, and as Trump is getting closer to, as he's a presumptive Republican nominee, he has said he would pardon, it's considered a blanket pardon for everyone on January 6th. Are you saying that shouldn't happen? People who beat up cops should be excluded from that?
Well, I think what President Trump has said, and of course he can speak for himself, but I pay pretty close attention to what he says. And I think what the president has said is that people who have this double standard applied to them should be pardoned.
Yeah. And when it's all said and done, how in the world is he going to not become the de facto gold medalist in backpedaling hypocrisy, or more notably, just flat out lying? Because if you don't recall, this is what Donald Trump said he was going to do about the January 6th rioters. Remember this?
Trump also detailing a move he plans to make in his first hours in office, pardoning defendants from the January 6th Capitol riots. Asked if that would include those who committed violent acts, Trump saying he'll look at each case, adding, "It's going to start in the first hour that I get into office, and a vast majority of them should not be in jail."
And this is my point about Trump. This is my point about change. This is my point about disruption. Actually, it's my point about almost anything in life. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. He did not have to do this as one sweeping move. He could have taken the next year and siphoned through the cases least egregious to worse and slowly pardon people. He has that right. He didn't have to do it on day one. He's just an insufferable attention media seeking prick. That's all. Nothing more. So folks, every single time Donnie opens his mouth, we know it's likely a lie. Please know henceforth, when JD Vance talks about something or makes some sort of bold statement, you probably won't have to wait very long for the retraction and the justification or the clarification of what it meant, because he goes to the Donald Trump school of lads as well. Lie, accuse, denigrate, dismiss, diffuse. Hang in there, gang. Stay positive. Keep joy in your life. Talk to people you know.